Good morning, happy Wednesday. Now I know the other day I mentioned, I was like, and here I went. I was like, wait a minute, let me slow it down. First off, I realized that I don't finish things. I get my sentence through and then I go give the key point. But I did mention the other day I wanted to teach kids how to shave. I was one of those kids who had to teach himself. I didn't learn how to shave until I got to the Army. Thankfully, I was pretty much a bear kid for a while. But not bear like burly with hair. No, like bear like I didn't grow facial hair until I was like 28. And I was so honored. Like it was a gift. So here we are. Now we go against the grain or we go with the grain. That's what I'm trying to think. I go up and I go against it. It cuts a little bit better. Now you want to make sure you have a nice clean, very nice clean blade. I have a Mach 3 razor. That's what I use. 3 blades. They have 5. They have 1. I used to bick it. Back in the Army days, you had to bick it. Like, barely ever had a good razor like this. You had one of those cheap-ass disposables, and you're cutting yourself every 2 seconds. It's normal. Grab some tissue, use a little bit of shaving cream or toothpaste, put it right on it. Walk away for 10 minutes, wipe it away, you'll be alright. So, as you come in, make sure you don't go sideways. Don't go cutting yourself. It's dangerous. You gotta be careful with a blade near your neck. So you go in slowly, and you come up, put a little bit of pressure, not too much. Let the blade do its work. Now maybe I look like I'm living back in freaking hell yet. 1 second. Missing a bulb. Nice and gentle. Now, sometimes you like to hum, put on a little music, makes the morning go by quicker. You say your prayers in the mirror, you look at yourself and say, Lord, I thank you for another day. Thank you for waking me up today. Thank you for my parents. Thank you for this opportunity to learn how to shave when my father's not really there for me. My father wasn't there for me either. And all the fathers that I had in my life, they were there for me for the moments, but they weren't there in the right ways. We look for unconditional love, don't we, men? We really would like unconditional love. We're out there fighting and slaving and working really hard to try to find it, to try to create it. Now, many of you do a great job at finding it. Come down a little bit at the bottom. I like to come off the bottom, take away that neck hair, those little long stragglers. I get random hair in weird places, like on my back. It's ugly too. I ain't no gorilla. Ain't no gorilla. I'm a human being. Mixed with a little divinity. Thanks, Pop. Oh, you in God's house now. Whew. I got you. I got you where I want you. Oh. No. Now I can look at you and use my phone, because that's a great way to be able to shave if you don't have a mirror in front of you. You use your phone. Now you come up one. Now I'm excessive. I go ahead and I swipe so many times. You see how red my neck is? You don't need that. See how red my face is? I'm not a drinker, don't worry. But then you go ahead and you come down. And you hit it one. You hear that? That means it's doing its job. You see that? That's nasty. Nobody likes a beard. Now we do like big burly beards. Women love big burly beards, buds. You know, just so you know, they do. They like something that they can put their hands in, that they can grab, that they can go ahead and they feel like they're in protection. Something about a beard. Gotta say it. It's true. It's very attractive. As long as you keep it clean. Make sure you use the right oils, beard balm, a pomade if you like. Now people might go against the pomade. It's old school. It might clog some pores on you. And what you're trying to do is you're opening up the hair follicles around it so you can grow a nice, big ZZ top. And I know what you'd like. I mean, if you go ahead and you drop that ZZ top and you put it right down to your chest, another thing, that's a handlebar right there. That's something to grab onto. They can grab on from the distance. They could drag you across the house. They could bring you up the stairs, down the stairs, wipe the floor with you. You turn into a mop. You don't want women to walk all over you. You want to give them a level of control where they love you unconditionally. It's very hard to do. It's a very hard task to perform. You got to tiptoe around them half the time. You come in all sweet and nice, you bring them some flowers, maybe a little bit of dinner. You don't just bring the groceries in the house, put them on the table, and walk over to the couch and sit down and put the sports on. No. Those days of old are pretty much over, because they will come into the room, pick up the remote control, shut the TV off, look you in the eyes, and not say a word. And you know you just messed up. Oh, you know. In that moment, your life is over. And if you like to play video games, that's for some people, they turn it into a job, a career. They're like, yes, I got my way in. I found my loophole. That's cool. For me, nope. I learned do not. Video game systems are only meant for Netflix. Now that we have smart TVs, you might as well take that PlayStation and throw it across the room. Don't throw it across the room out of anger. Just go put it in a box. Stick it in the closet. Give it to your kid on his 6th birthday. 6th. Not 4th. 6th. Around the age of 6 to 10, they really like to, it's that creativity mindset coming through. You can kind of give them that strength of controls to go ahead and navigate through a gaming system, and then they can play these games Fortnite's actually pretty cool. I'd rather Fortnite over Call of Duty. Now, you got to know how to handle yourself in wartime. You do, but I'm not a fan of killing. But Fortnite, you're using tools. And you're creating structures, and you're building things, and you're building. I kind of find it weird that we moved on from physical labor of actual building, younger kids, to playing video games on how to build. You got a lot of grandparents out there, a lot of parent styles that they don't want to give up the biggest secrets on how they do certain things. You got to go to school for it. You need to get the education. They tell you, no, you're going to go to school and learn. I'm not going to teach you in the house. No, you're going to get out there and you're going to structure this stability and you're going to learn from another person how to be me, which is a cold-hearted thing to do because that just basically says I'm pawning you off on someone else. How many people like being called a pawn? I'm a king on a chessboard, just so you know. I stand planted. I move one space left, one space right, one space forward, one space back. I can switch with my castle rook if I want to. Oh, yes, I can. But I gotta get the queen out the way first. I gotta move my bishop. I gotta move my knight. I really like my knight. Knight, my L shape, what I rock with my knight all the time. It's usually my first move on a chessboard. Now here we go into my moments. My moments of bouncing around in a conversation. Here we are with the analogy of a game of chess. So when I move my knight, my right knight, now I can't tell you, square movements. I can't. I don't know the A1s and the A5s. I don't know how to, off the top of my head, no. But when I'm sitting there in front of the board, no, game on. And Righteous will tell you, because he won't play me. No, he'll play Pharaoh. He'll go up against Pharaoh every damn day, but he won't go up against God. Righteous knows better. Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he does. But I stood there and I watched them both play, and I got to see his strategy. And I ain't going to talk about it, because he's got a good system, and he's a pretty good player. Damn good man on a chessboard. Damn good man in the field. He's very wise in his movements at 9 gems. Keep that in mind. So here we are, back to shaving. You go up a couple times, get those follicles, break them down all the way down to the skin line. Then you can do one down. You got to finish it off, right? Now the lineup. Sorry, I ain't too hood. But my lineup, I usually like to go to Manny. Let him hook me up. Get good conversation over there. I was going to Julie, but it's time for a man to go to a man, and we have these conversations because it's time to get into business. It's time to get into the realities of life. I need the local understanding. I need to know what's going on around town. I want to be somebody of a local importance at one point in time. Right now, I'm still a young buck baby. That's what we look at. 34 years young, in a world full of dogs. I got to be careful with my movements. This lion likes to hide out underneath the tree, and when the time is right, I pounce. I pounce on any subject that I can go ahead and sink my teeth into. No, I ain't talking about women. No. I'm talking about actual intellect. Something that stands out to me that I want to talk about and that I want to support and that I want to fight. Whether it's pro or con. I'm not a big debater, but yeah, I am. Yeah. I prefer not to be. I like to listen with sound judgment and wait until there's an opportunity for correction. It's just how life is. Now I'm 10 minutes deep, and I know you guys don't really like listening to me talk, and all I do is mumble on screen or, show off my burliness in my chest. Makes me feel good. It's almost time for a haircut. My crown gets a little big on me. Yeah, that's right. That's the crown of the head. That's my crown. Which you could also say the crown of a road is the very top. So no matter what, the top of my head, my helmet of salvation, I don't even need to put a hat on. I don't need no jewels. I don't need no giant golden points on the top of my head. No, I don't. I got God and I got a king inside my heart. I know my bloodline. I know where I walk. I know who I am. And it's a beautiful thing to know that I wake up every morning and God talks to me no different than I talk to him. We all have a voice within. We have a voice of reason. We have a voice of season. You can go ahead and take it to a psychological aspect. That's okay. It was created for a reason. But it was created for the wrong. You see, for the longest time, they were trying to prevent the idea of God coming back. And it's not him. It's not them. It's the enemy within us. We all have two sides. There's a dark force and there's a light force. Talk about Space Force. Don't even do it. But there is. It's the truth. So within me, I tell you, there is God. Now, God's in all of you. But he sent one spirit down. You guys all get a Holy Spirit. And you get the Holy Ghost. But one vessel gets to house the vessel of all. Now, I've been kind of irate on purpose. Been trying to prove points. Been trying to do a lot of things. Lucky. Here I am now, peaceful and gentle to you. And I just want to pray over everybody, and I pray that everyone can understand with fulfillment how glorious the days can actually be from now on out. Just knowing as it trickles out, creates rushing water. When we walk into our churches, there's more than just being in church and listening to one man or one woman speak. No. You see, we have a glorious nation. We really do. And where I'm from, we're up on promised land. Now, I understand we talk about Israel and we talk about Palestine, we talk about all that area being promised land. It was at one point in time. It really was. It always still will be. It's holy land. It's glorious. But God set something up for a reason. He set this up over here in America. Generations over generations, we moved westerly. They came this way. They came from the east and went west. They didn't go around the world the other direction. No, they went the other. They crossed a lot of borders. We had some wars in some dirty places. We still got tanks sitting on the ground, burnt up and blown up over in Germany. We ran away from famine. We went from country to country. We dealt with a parliament that wanted to hold control over a lot of people. They brought that parliament to America. They thought that they weren't. They were trying to run away from it, but at the same time they were adopting methods. I'm okay with that. But it's getting a little greedy. And by getting, I mean it got a little greedy. Somebody, and I'm sorry, it does. It trickles down to 1. It honestly does. It trickles down to 1. We call it 1%. And that 1% holds on to the wealth of the entire nation. It's sad. It's very sad because you look at the poverty level of everything that's going on. You see the anger, the frustration, the violence. And what's crazy even more about that is that within that poverty level, you got a government more afraid of the people. So what they want to do is take away your weapons. They want to take away your homes, your houses. They come in on eminent domain all the time. Banks are part of the structure. Insurance agencies are part of the structure. You know that if you, in an insurance claim, they fight you tooth and nail in your claim. Now, granted, there are a lot of people in the world who try to do fraudulent things. But what's the definition of fraud? Look it up. And when it comes to understanding fraud, who's being fraudulent? Is it the state and their government tactics? Or is it the person with their intention of what the purpose is that they need it for? Now, you don't go stealing from your neighbor. You don't go stealing from anyone. You don't. But when you ask for something, it should be received. It's a gift. It's given. When you say, hey, I'm down and out. Is there something I can receive? Is there anything left over for me? Is there anything at the scraps at the bottom of the barrel? Because that's me. I'm the one who looks for the scraps at the bottom of the barrel. I don't want to take anything off the top. No. Because that takes away from people who could really use it. Because, me, I'm at the point in my life, like, I honestly could live homelessly and be very happy about it. I'd go ahead and build myself some sort of a structure somewhere hidden in the woods, and I'd keep my clothes clean. I'd keep my clothes covered. I'd find my way to a laundromat. I'd keep myself nice. I'd be probably the cleanest homeless person out there because I don't get into drugs. I don't drink alcohol. I would just live in survivability. I would sustain in the wilderness, and I got no problem with it. But I'm gracious to God and the big man Tom in the sky, which, Tom is the father of the JC downstairs. They look identical to each other. And he's the Greek and the Jew. He's my Zacchaeus. Now, yesterday, I told him to go fuck himself for telling me to put my bed in the eaves while we were just to hide from the fire inspector. All he was doing is coming around and checking fire, the smoke alarms. He's got no care in the world for anything else in the house. As long as it's kept clean, it's safe of any dangers, and he knows who I am. So they leave it alone. But your fear of putting the cart ahead of the horse all the time in your life, because it's better to ask for permission than ask for forgiveness. In this moment, we were asking for forgiveness, but we didn't need to. He didn't care. You know why? Because I set the precedence a while ago, and I went right to the commissioner and said, hey, listen, this is what's going on in my life. And instead of going to the Red Cross or agreeing with the Red Cross, I took it upon myself to say that I could stay with my girlfriend. It's never a good idea to stay, if you have a traumatic event happen, like a house burning down. You're in a relationship for, let's call it 6 months. You don't go moving in with your girlfriend. That's her safe place. That's her sanctuary. That's her house. She's, it's gracious that her roommates allowed me to come stay with them. Opened the doors for me. Good Christian people. Wonderful people. But it burnt the bridge really fast. It did. I went through my transformation with God, turning into Him, being more and more like Him, recognizing who the hell I am. Who I am. Now today I come before you. Yesterday I was Lazarus. Today I come before you as the Holy One. I have to. I can't deny it. Now I'm kind of scruffy. I'm still looking like I'm coming out the tomb. I'm still working on my fuel pump and my fuel filter. Just trying to get life the way it should be. Get it correct. Get it right. Now, I probably could go online one more time and see if I can get that PUA that everyone else gets, but for some reason, I'm stuck in the snare of the fowler. And they just won't send it over. I've given every bit of detail. I've given my identity multiple times. I've given them my address multiple times. I've given them proof of access. Everything. Nope. Not enough for them. Now that's money that could help me get into a new vehicle. It could help me put a little money towards my kids. Maybe I could drop a check off in the mailbox. It'd be nice. Make sure they can get, or even some toys to the doorstep. Not me. I'd have someone else drop them off. Maybe a little food in my fridge. But I don't really need it. I get God's comfort of fasting. That really makes it so I only need to eat one time a day. I love that. He's blessed me with so many angels over the course of this time. He really has. And each one has served a wonderful, valuable purpose. It hurts to have to move on from the last one. She broke my heart, not wanting to see God for who He is. She did. She dropped a one-liner that really threw me for a loop. You don't put a label on somebody's head. But if you want to talk to her, she's the one you got to talk to, because she's the angel of revelation. She watched everything go down. In her eyes, she thinks schizophrenia, but then last night she saw me and she didn't think schizophrenia. She just realized she messed up. And I had to put her in her place and tell her, you gotta go home. You come back later on when we're both not grieving. You're mad at me and you chose a childhood tactic to push me away and then think that I'm gonna come running back. Think that you can get me anytime you want. It doesn't work that way, no. No, you see, a true lioness dove in at the right moment. Like an eagle, she just swooped down for me. Like a silver bird. She saw my pain in my comments. She saw my pain in my videos. And she's amazing. She's a child of God. She worships and she prays, and she was going through her pain. You know, she did 7 years. Now we can get stuck in that 7-year fallow snap. We really can. But I did that once already with one woman, and we have kids by it. I'm stuck in that snare of being cheated on and lied to, but yet everything looks like it's my fault. So of course I'm going to cover myself a little bit more and more every day. God gave me cloaks for a reason. I'm cloaked in this invisible cloak for a little bit, and I'll get out of it eventually. I'll pull it off, and you all will see me come out of Hogwarts lately. It's kind of funny. Honest wives. Honestly. I'm telling you the truth on everything, people. Now, I'm not going to go trying to cut myself to see how much I bleed. No. Thanks, Em. No. But to live life here on earth from the sky above and to see me and everybody around, but I also see your demons. And I see them latched onto you like a Peter Pan freaking shadow on the ground. I just want to come cut that demon right off. I want to unstitch that shadow from you. It's dangerous what they can do. Now you can dry shave, because I didn't put any shaving cream up on my cheeks. So you just give a couple, but that can cause some rosacea. You can cut yourself a little bit. It's alright. Makes me wonder what they used back in the day on what to shave with. Did they use rocks? Did they use clamshells? You know, coming up there with it? Or did they just let it all grow out all burly like? Because you know, Pastor Bob talked the other day about long hair. And I'm like, I wish I could grow long hair. I definitely could. But you know, the theatrics of the fact. It's out with the old and in with the new. Kind of reminds me of that, what's that, Trading Spaces song? They come up with Michael Jackson. Hey. So I am. Alpha and the Omega. Beginning and the end. First and the last. Such a beautiful feeling. And you know how I know is because, I'm sorry, when we talk about God, we talk about Jesus, it honestly feels like first person. You're talking to me. When I used to really talk to him, and I still do. Oh, I talk to him every damn second. He's always right there in me. He's putting me through new tests every day. I'm a little nervous as to what my test might be today. I really am. But I know I need to get out there and I need to get that fuel pump right out of my truck. And I want to do it without breaking it. But yesterday was a day of solitude and thinking. He planted me. So today I'm actually going to make it happen. So I got to get out there. I got to go to work. And I have some volunteering to do. And I got some proving to do so that I can be an officer in an organization somewhere. I'd like to contribute my organization that I'd like to build with other organizations. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone should have their own little entity to know where they give back to. And there's good, positive structures behind them. It's building a firm foundation. This is who I am. I'm a firm foundation. There is no cracking my foundation. There's no burning my roof down. It's not happening. I worked my way from the ground up. And even though people want to throw me back to the beginning, I'm sitting right around the middle. And in the middle is when you really put the production in. There's no cutting me down on my knees. Not happening. You're not taking me down with a slingshot. Not today. No. If anything, I'm the one holding the slingshot. I'm the one who stepped up and said, God, let me get the giant. I got this. I'm coming in. I had to push through the people. I had to push through the soldiers, the warriors who were amped up and excited. I had to push through and say, Father, I'm here. Father. And he looked at me, he looked down at me and said, you pipsqueak. You really think you can do this? All right, give it a shot. Take your little slingshot there. You can't even pick up a sword. Look at you. Your arm's heavy. Can't even get it up there. Can't even throw it in the sky. Because if you do, they'll call you a racist. Right off the bat. That's right. That's right. This whole time, throughout history, it was about having a sword on my arm. And you know who ruined it? And the opportunity for me to come out of the woodwork and this whole racial structure going on? Some people back in the day who decided to make bad decisions. But here I come before you as an independent, dripping water all over you. An independent from the sky, born of a Virgin Mary. She wasn't really a virgin. She could have been, but she wasn't. Now she tells you she was, because she never, you know how I know I can correlate the two? Because for 14 years of my life,